Welcome to one of the smaller but also the more exciting launches at the Cannes Yachting Festival. This is the brand new X-Shore 1. Now, as you can probably tell from the sign on it, it is of course electric, but what makes this so different is that for the first time we've got a sporty electric boat available on the market for under €100,000. Now, admittedly that is without tax, but even so it's roughly a third of the price of the previous model, the Elex 8000, but you can see it's still on shaft drive. It's traditional shaft drive. We've got a rudder, got a big propeller, bathing ladder at the stern, small bathing platform, but let's go on board and show you the boat itself. Now, the reason they've managed to make this so much cheaper than before is that it is obviously a little bit smaller. It's 6.5 meters, but it's also a whole lot lighter. So by building it in-house, using their own production facilities, they've managed to reduce the weight of this from 2,600 kilograms for the Elex 8000 to just 1,600 for this. So it's 6.5 meter rather than 8 meter, but a lot lighter, which means they don't need so much power. So they've only used one 63 kilowatt hour battery rather than two, but the same 170 kilowatt motor. So performance should be every bit as good. This boat is capable of 30 knots flat out, and it should have absolutely electric acceleration. I mean, I say that literally and figuratively, because the previous boat was pretty quick and that weighed a whole ton more. This should have the same power, but acceleration will be even faster. So I'm told it's like a go-kart to drive, and I can actually believe that. So, as well as the motor itself, we've got a really nice little layout. You can see this backrest here slides backwards and forwards, so you can have aft-facing seats, forward-facing seat, or you can push it all the way back or all the way forward and have a sun lounger arrangement. Now, everybody always asks about range on a boat like this, and with only one battery rather than two, it's not going to be as long at displacement, but at displacement cruising speeds, you still have a range of 50 nautical miles. And at planing speed of 20 knots, it's around 20 nautical miles. Now, that doesn't sound a great deal, but actually how people use their boats, that tends to be enough. On a day boat, you want to be out there probably somewhere between 5 and 10 nautical miles away, anchor up, have a lovely day at anchor, and then blast back home. Now let's look at the seats. So we've got two helm seats, one helm seat, one navigator seat. These have got flip-up bolsters, but they also spin round. So you can see if I just spin that round, I need to do that the other way actually to clear the steering wheel, but you can get the idea that both of these spin round. A table slots in there, and then you can have a really nice sociable layout here with all the seats facing in towards the table. You can sit and have your picnic there exactly as you'd like to. The helm itself, very nice and simple, very clean. Like the Elex 8000, this is actually the throttle, so rather than a big stick, you literally just put your hand around this, twist it backwards and forwards. Works surprisingly well. You've got the key, but there's obviously no motor to actually start it, literally just turns it on, and then you've got controls on the wheel itself, which always stay in position, the wheel moves around it. Touchscreen Garmin navigation system, and that gives access to all the boat systems as well, and its own proprietary charging and range software, so you always know exactly how far you've got to go on the battery. And if you do start to run out, it will cut you down to displacement speed and make sure you can get home. Now, unlike the Elex 8000, that was a fully open boat, this has a closed foredeck, and they're using this lovely cork decking. It's reconstituted cork, it's more environmentally friendly, but it's also really nice and soft underfoot and very grippy. Got two cleats either side. This is their logo, the Electric Eel logo, and then an anchor locker under here, lifts up. They haven't fitted the anchor as yet. This is an early prototype, but that's where the anchor will go. And the cushions from downstairs will lay out on this foredeck area and create a sunbathing zone on the bow, as well as at the back here when you push that backrest back. And because of that closed deck, there is quite a nice little cabin down here. Now, it's very much an overnighter. It's not really something you're going to stay on for days or nights at a time, but for one overnight, that's absolutely fine. As much as anything though, it's really useful to have a little interior space. You can put your bags there, kids can go down below, and indeed you can spend the night if you want to. There is a porta potty that fits under that central section. Show that lifts out, so you can have a porta potty under there, and you can also have a cool box that slots in there to keep all your drinks cool. So really handy to have that inside space, whether it's just for a bit of shelter or whether you do want to sleep. I'll have to put that back when I got both hands free, but very nice to be able to have that option too. Bit more storage under the seats. You can see, nice little storage locker. And back onto the stern. So, obviously not quite as big as the Elex 8000, but you get all the same performance, you get nearly as good a range, should be absolute hoot to drive, but most importantly of all, it is under 100,000 euros. And that is going to be an absolute game changer for this electric market, where previously if you wanted a planing electric boat, you're talking more like 250 to 300,000. Now you can get one for under 100,000 euros. So that is the first look. Obviously, as soon as we can, we'll bring you a test drive too, but I hope you enjoyed this very rapid tour of the brand new X-Shore 1. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.